Injury front, D-Rob will not be out there today. Kyler will not be out there today. Everybody else will be out there in some capacity. We'll see how the week goes with all those guys. Just got out of there in meetings right now, but going to Indy, obviously excited about competing versus a really good football team. So it's going to be fun. They're well coached. They got a lot of premium players, and they're playing really well right now. So it's going to be a big-time challenge. So that's where our focus is right now, and we're excited about it. What do we got?
No Walter yet.
No.
Coach, what was your reaction to the fine handed down by the team?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of addressed it on Monday. Take accountability and move on.
What's the concern level right now with Kyler?
Take it day by day.
Marvin had a rough stretch earlier this year, and he seems to pull out of it. Just how do you think he's done just from where he was to where he is?
Excellent. Yeah, he's doing well. Got to continue to get him the ball. He's going to impact the game. I really liked his week of practice thing, the things that he was working on, because coming from week 3 to week 4, we really didn't get to practice. So really last week is kind of first week of practice there. Some things that we adjusted a little bit, things that he was cognizant, and I think it showed up in the game. So I think it's a stepping stone for him, and look forward to him playing well on Sunday.
When you were in Indy, were you ever around his dad at all? I know, obviously, that his time had moved on.
I think one time he came around to talk to Coach Reich, but not much.
You mentioned yesterday or on Monday that if you didn't have the right people in the building, that you might be on a different vibe around the building.
Mm-hmm.
I understand that you have confidence in everybody, but when you look around the locker room, who in particular gives you that confidence, maybe with their process after they handle a loss like this, that gives you that confidence that you guys can get through it?
Yeah, I can't talk about all of them, but all of them, honestly. Zach, and just I see him respond to some adversity, to, maybe being a little disappointed with how they're playing themselves with our team. They respond the right way. When I ask them to do something, they do it. So we just got to keep moving ahead, forging ahead, and make sure we keep getting better.
I asked you yesterday how he's seen defenses adjust when Mark kind of plays well early in games. How can you guys take advantage of that better going forward?
Every game's a new game. So they were talking about with that, I think some in-game adjustments.
With Marv, you said the message at halftime against Seattle was just to play fast and be confident. Did you see him doing all those things this past week?
I did.
What were the things that he had been working on that you were particularly encouraged to see take to the field?
I'm going to keep that to myself because I don't want the world to know what he's working on right now, but he definitely took it to the game field.
When you guys signed Jacoby, it was to have that knowledge that if something had to happen, he could come in. What is it about him on a personal level that makes him so good at this job?
Well, he's a true pro. I know that term gets thrown around, but when you're in his seat, all our guys, but the quarterback position is the hardest position in sports, and to know that you're one play away from your role change, and you really do got to be on the details, like you're the starter, and he has a smile on his face. He loves to practice. He loves to prepare. He loves to play. We've seen that out on the grass since he's been here, and I was with him, the 1 year in Indy, but he's a good football player, and he's a great teammate, really good leader, and he's got to play. He's got to play.
Coach, when you look at Indy, they seem to be hitting on all cylinders right now. How tough the challenge is that this week?
Yeah, they're a good football team. Obviously, I light up when I talk about Shane because I know how good he is. Being with him for those 2 years that we were together. He's a really good football coach, and he knows how to use his people, use his weapons. He knows how to, get the most out of the quarterback. Like I said, they got a lot of good players. Chris Ballard's done a really good job with that roster where it's at right now, with a mix of vets and youth and premium players, as I would call them. And then Lou, coming over from Cincinnati, they play hard. They disguise really well. They take the ball away. They're taking the ball away at a high clip right now. I think in the top couple teams in the NFL. And he's got premier players too. They got 2 inside guys that are really good players, a really good corner, really good Mike linebacker who I was with. I was with a couple of those guys. It's a big-time challenge. There's no doubt.
You game plan for Daniel Jones when you were in Philly. Is there any difference in him now compared to when he was with the Giants?
Yeah, brand new system, and he's playing really confident.
That's it?
Yeah. Yeah. He was, obviously taken in the top 10. He's got the skill set. But it's been a really good marriage with him and Shane.
Well, Johnson's been playing really phenomenal to start the year. It's hard enough for a rookie to do that, let alone a position like quarterback. What's been the most impressive thing to you?
Keep it up, Will. Yeah. No, you're right, Donnie. He takes the coaching and he applies it. He doesn't make the same mistake twice, typically. I'm pretty hard on him, but he's smart. He's tough. He's got what you're looking for in a corner. You know what I mean? He's done a good job since he's been here, and again, I think he's going to continue to ascend the more he plays.
All young players seem to get coaching well, but Will seems to
Not all of them. No, that's not true, Cam.
Would you say Will takes coaching better than most, in a sense?
I think when I say that he's not defensive, takes the arrow in the forehead. It's easy for young guys to, maybe place blame on others. He does not do that. And I think that he can apply the coaching points from various arenas of learning, meeting room, walkthrough, practice field, to the game. And that accelerates your growth. The more you play, that should accelerate your growth if you can do that. So, and he's shown that he can do it.
Will said at one point
Mm-hmm.
early in the season, he pretty much said to Will, "Hey, you sit next to me."
Mm-hmm.
And not to say that Buddha is the reason Will is taking coaching well, but can you see some of the traits in someone like Buddha and a young player like that when Buddha's going out of his way to take a player under his wing?
Yeah, Buddha does that with the whole room. Now, Will does have to sit next to him, which that can be scary at times because I've sat next to Buddha sometimes, and it's sometimes not very comfortable. But he makes sure he is on point. You know what I mean? And that's cool. But Buddha does that with, I would say, the entire secondary and honestly the entire defense.
With Marv, obviously we all saw in the first quarter what he's capable of. What stood out to you though over the final 3 quarters, or when maybe the TV cameras weren't on him as much? What stood out to you?
Playing good football.
You said that some players don't take coaching well. How do you get through to them? Who are they?
Well, yeah, no, we don't have many. I was kind of speaking from experience there. I would say this, and even some second-year guys, because, I talk to, obviously everybody, but some second-year guys, like, looking to make that jump, The jump is in the details, especially if you're getting clock. So if you're getting clock and you're on the details, you should have a chance to ascend. And, you just got to be able to do that. The great players in this league, they take the opportunities and run with it. They're not going to make every play, but they can correct and put themselves in better position or understand how to make more plays than they miss, and certain guys do that with it, certain guys don't. It's just kind of life in the NFL. But our guys are pretty aware and committed to try to get better every day.
Tyler Warren leads all tight ends in receiving yards. What have you seen from the rookie tight end, and in what ways does practicing against a guy like Trey McBride every day better suit you as you get to face
Shane's creative with how he gets him the ball. Going back to the Dallas Goedert days in Philly, you see the Antonio Gates days. He's got some creativity how he gets him the ball. He's got a really cool skill set. We loved him coming out when we watched him. He was a big-time player. They took him where they took him for a reason, and he's impacting the game, and he can do a bunch of different things. He's a little bit different than Trey, I would say, but he gets open and he catches it, and he can run after catch, and he's got a huge catch radius, ball skills, and he can block. So he's I know he's a rookie, but he definitely jumps off the tape. High opinion of him.
What is the kind of vibe and energy in this locker room been like this week? And how do you kind of keep that up after a loss like that?
Today, dope as hell. Honestly, it really was. It really was. Yeah, I couldn't start the meeting on time because of the energy in the room. So that's good to see. But that's good to see. But we have to make sure that we're on the details in the meeting room and the walkthrough and practice. But it was really good. It was really good.
What is the key in your experience to a locker room being able to maintain that vibe and positivity?
Stay in the future. I mean, stay in the present. Not looking forward to the future, not looking back in the past. You know, if you're carrying baggage, you're in the wrong to me. So you're only carrying baggage because your brain says you got to carry it. We don't have to carry any baggage. We got a chance to go 3-3, play a really good football team, and play well. So that's what they know right now. Put a smile on your face, enjoy competing, and control today.
Nick was saying yesterday about Josh Sweat and his versatility. It allows him to be a little bit more creative with the way he utilizes him. But when Josh is on the field, in what ways does that open up for guys like Barron and Zaven to get theirs?
Well, they have to pay attention to Josh, and when they're paying attention to Josh, that's typically going to create some one-on-ones, you know. It's just kind of a numbers game with that. If you got a win rusher, you're, depending how they choose to, you know, negate that, it's going to open up some things for other guys.
Is Shane someone you talk to during the week, just kind of text or whatever?
Not this week, that's for sure.
In other weeks, is he someone that you guys?
I keep focused on my job at hand right now.
Drew said yesterday that he wanted to do a better job of getting the ball to Marvin more. What are all the things that go into that during a game? You know, because obviously he is the one calling plays, but I imagine it's not that simple. What are all the things that go into getting the ball?
A lot, you know, they got to say too, so they can choose to defend you. Obviously the quarterback, the protection, the concept, Marv specifically, who's he going against, what they're doing. So a lot goes into that. You know, you see that all around the league when we watch all the crossover tape, and we're watching Shane, you know, Indy this week. Like, you know, there you can see where he's trying to hit some plays to certain guys, and you know, there's reasons why the ball doesn't go there. You know, that happens. That's football. So just got to continue to be creative, and all 11 have to do a good job for any play to work.
When you evaluate Kyler this week, when you look at if he can't move as well, but he can still stay in the pocket and throw, how will that affect kind of your decision whether to play?
Yeah, if he's healthy enough to play, he'll play.
Even if he's limited in some regards?
Yeah, if he's healthy enough to play, he'll play.
Coach, earlier in the year, you said that it's hard to game plan both for yourself and other teams because teams don't really have an identity yet. We're 5 weeks into the season. Do you think you have a good idea of what the identity of the team is, or because the margins have been so thin, especially the last 3 weeks? Is it still?
Yeah, I think I know what we have to control to give ourselves a chance to win. We've done that better in certain games than other games. That has to stay consistent. And then I think that, you know, looking at each week, what we do well and what the opponent does well, just got to continue to exploit that. And we can always, in my opinion as a coach, we can always, you know, do a better job of that, you know, how we set things up. So, and then ultimately coach it and the players understand it and go out and execute it. So, you know, the old adage of coaching better and playing better, that it's coach speak, but it's the truth. You know, if you ask anybody, it really is the truth. So just got to be on those details.